Next slide.
So, go ahead. What does it mean to move through grief? We have two choices in the midst of our grief. We can get stuck or we can move through. Knowing, though, that if we get stuck, the chances are we're going to get better instead of better. And I dare say we all know people in our lives who have suffered loss, and it may not have even been death, but loss is loss, and we grieve loss, whether it's the loss of a dream or the loss of a hope or the loss of a husband. We all grieve loss. We all know people who have gotten stuck in the midst of that loss, continuing to ask the question, why, when why requires a response from God, but what now requires a response from us. And it is the only way that we can move through grief and not be stuck in grief. They're two very different perspectives. Move through, stuck in. Stuck in, if you think of it like this, if a sheep is walking along with a shepherd and that sheep falls into a mud puddle, who has to pull that sheep out? The shepherd does. The sheep does not have ability to turn itself and get out very easily. Pigs waller in the midst of those holes of mud, and they're happy there. In fact, it is their happiest place. And there are some among us who choose to waller in their bitterness. Because honestly, they've come to the point of brokenness where they don't know how to survive without being unhappy. And that, to me, is the greatest of all tragedies. We will all lose. We will all suffer loss. We will all walk this incredibly wide road of grief and loss at some point in time in our lives. It is just the nature of a fallen world. And the path that we are on this incredibly wide highway is very, very, very narrow and very lonely. And we look around and see people on the journey, but we can never seem to catch up with them. And if we do catch up with them, there comes a point when we look at them and we want them to understand, and we say something and they don't get it. But when you're here, everybody gets it. We all get it in a word or two words or no words. Because there will always be people that we meet in our lifetimes that we could speak thousands of words to, then they will never get us. And there are people that we never have to speak a single word to, and they will get us automatically. That's the way God works. I want to take you to Psalm. And I'm actually not going to 34 first. I'm going to go to 101 first. Psalm 101. It says this: I will sing of steadfast love and justice to you, O Lord. I will make music. I will ponder the way that is blameless. Oh, when will you come to me? I will walk with integrity of heart within my house. I will not set before my eyes anything that is worthless. I hate the work of those who fall away. It shall not cling to me. A perverse heart shall be far from me, and I will know nothing of evil. Whoever slanders his neighbor secretly, I will destroy. And whoever has a haughty look and an arrogant heart, I will not endure. I will look with favor on the faithful in the land, that they may dwell with me. He who walks in this way that is blameless shall minister to me. This was one of the songs that God planted in me as I walked through this grief journey. This and the 63rd Psalm became cries of my heart. After Daryl died, I quit singing. And you have seen it is one of the reasons why I get to breathe on this planet every day. Not because I'm a great singer or because I'm all that, but because God is amazing. And He gives each one of us a gift and a talent that is to be used for His glory. And it is a gift that He gave me as a very small child to use for His glory. But after Terrell died, I did not have it in me to move past trying to breathe. The joy of my heart since I was 2 has been to sing. And I had no music. About 8 months into my grief journey, I got a call to sing at a funeral. Really, God? Really? And I could not, and it's God's little ha-ha thing on me. And guys, please know, Sherry and I, we laugh and we cut up, but we know the seriousness of God. And we know the seriousness of His Word and of the message that He is giving us for you all today. But there are those times when we have to laugh at God because He has a sense of humor. At lunch today, Sherry looks up and she goes, "Look, He made a platypus." I'm like, that's so true.
I did hear what I said.
I always listen to you. Always, Percy. So, it was God's little ha-ha joke on me. But it was also God's testing of me. Because at that moment, I had a choice to look at myself and go, this is not what I want to do. Or to look at this family who had poured life into me and say, I will do this for you. It was a suck it up buttercup moment in my life. But I didn't suck it up. It literally put me on my knees and I said, God, I cannot do this. And very clearly He said, you know what, Terry, you're right. You can't. But I can. Okay, God.
Is that when you said, do I have to be there for you to do it?
Yeah, do I have to go? Can
That's
I
just
call
what I
my
asked.
friend? Can I call somebody else?
I know you can do it, do you?
Yeah.
Just do it.
So I did though. And it was, honestly guys, it was one of those things that I got through because God got me through it. But out of that, on the back side of it, I found my voice again. I found my voice again. And true story, 2 months later, 3 months later, in the middle of the Holy Land, in a theater in the middle of Jerusalem, a friend of mine looked at me and said, from the middle of the stage, and I was in the middle of the audience, in the middle of a row, in the middle of a theater, watching, hey, Teri Cox, come on up. You're going to sing Mustang Sally.
That's spiritual. That's spiritual.
Okay, Jesus does not do 60s rock. And I'm pretty sure if He doesn't do it in the middle of the Holy Land. And there is no way. And so I'm sitting there going, no. And He's like, oh yeah. And I'm like, no. And He's like, yeah. And so all these people start yelling Teri, Teri. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not happening to me.
In the Holy Land.
In the Holy Land. And it was it was one of those surreal moments of my life where you look around and you know that God is just laughing. He's like, okay, what are you going to do now? And so I'm crawling over these, bless their heart, elderly people going, I'm so sorry I'm crawling over you. I clearly did not know I was going to the middle of the stage in the middle of the Holy Land to sing Mustang Sally for you. And you're like, no, it's okay. Hey. And so I get up to the platform, and somewhere in the middle of Mustang Sally, I begin to laugh in my brain. Like, in my brain, I was like, God, this is the funniest thing. Like, nobody is ever going to believe this story. This is funny. And I'm singing Mustang Sally in the middle of Holy Land. And it was the only standing ovation of the entire... Now, wait, it gets better.
That's a traditional church song.
I love Pat Food, and bless his heart, he was there. And Pat sang. And I love Larry Gatlin, and bless his heart, he was there and he sang a lot. But Mustang Sally in the middle of the Holy Land was the only standing ovation. And y'all, that's just funny. It's funny.
Guess what you're singing tonight?
No. Sherry doesn't have the music.
I can't play that. I can't play that without the music.
But it was, guys, it was one of those moments where God said, even when you don't have the courage, and even when you don't think you're called, I have anointed you and chosen you, and you are called. And you will look up to the hills, because that is where your help comes from. It is where I stand, and you will take my courage. And I hope you remember the words.
Yes.
Drive,
Sally, drive.
No, that's not the words.
Mustang.
So, now let's hang on. Let's go back and pick up that Psalms 34.
Got a little excited.
Yeah. Let's go back and pick up Psalms 34. Can you read that one for me, friend?
I would be honored to.
Thank
Teri
you.
Cox. 34:17-30. The righteous cry, and the Lord heareth and delivereth them out of all of their troubles. The Lord is nigh unto them that are of a broken heart, and saveth such as be of a contrite spirit.
Thank you. Let's have two more versions. Who's got a different version? Anyone?
Yeah,
Go
that's
ahead.
a little different. Funny, because I have this highlighted in my Bible. I didn't realize it.
That's good.
17. The righteous cry out, and the Lord hears them. He delivers them from all their troubles. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit.
That's
The
it.
righteous.
Is that it?
Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead if that wasn't it. I'm
The
sorry.
righteous person may have many troubles, but the Lord delivers them from all.
Yeah. That wasn't it. The righteous person may have many troubles, but the Lord delivers them from all. One more. Anybody have one more different version? Bueller? Go ahead.
Someone else's.
GNBDC.
Okay.
The righteous call to the Lord, and He listens. He rescues them from all their troubles. The Lord is near to those who are discouraged. He saves those who have lost all hope.
So what's the first thing we have to do according to that scripture?
Call to the Lord.
Call. And then what?
Hear him.
He hears. What's he promise us?
Deliver us.
He will deliver us. Okay? So, the first step that we have to take is to have the courage to call. Anytime we call on the name of Jesus, He will show up. If the only prayer that we have at the end of the day is the one word prayer of Jesus, he will show up, because there is power in his name. There is power in his name. If it is all that you have, if you're on the middle of your closet floor, how many of us have been there, right? And the only thing that you can do is cry out, Jesus. It is the greatest prayer you have ever prayed. Because there is no one mightier, and there is no one stronger. And he is who he says that he is. He cannot lie, and he cannot be in direct opposition of his word. And so he says, if you call on me, I will rescue you. Use his name. Use his name. It is mighty, mighty. Hebrews 13:8 says this: Jesus Christ is the same yesterday and today and forever. And you've heard me say that again and again from the platform. But I want you to get and understand the breadth of what that means. God sees every single piece of eternity. This massive picture, this tapestry that he weaves together of lives after life after life, and our life is but this big of a piece in the midst of that. But his tapestry spans the ages and is glorious. And we get stuck looking at one spot. And we miss the whole of eternity. If we live to be 100 years old, we will have only lived one spot in that tapestry. And for eternity, if we are his children, we get to see and live and be in the midst of him and who he is for so much longer than that one spot. So have the courage to cry out. And I can't tell you today what is your cry. I can't tell you if you're in the middle of a cry that says, God, I need to know you. Or God, I need to know you more. Or God, now what? Because I don't like it. I don't like what happened, and I don't get it. But you are the same yesterday and today and forever. And I will praise you with my lips. I will sing to you. I will find my joy in the Lord. Because there's a distinct difference between happiness and joy. Happiness means everything on this earth makes me feel how I feel. But joy is the joy of the Lord. And nothing on the face of this planet can affect that kind of joy. But we have to be willing to cry out to get that joy back. To be okay to have a silly wonder friend that you adore and that you belly laugh with. And that's okay. To be okay to call your friend Erica when you go to meet the superintendent of her children's school and go, I didn't bring any pants. Does that happen? True story. We have to find those people in our world now that help us live through the craziness of this life, who have the joy of the Lord in them, so that we can share those bonds that nothing on this planet can break. God is still good. If he loved us before, he loves us now. Even more.